You try to control how others see you. You try to control tomorrow before it arrives. And what happens? Anxiety, because control is a promise the mind makes that reality never agrees to. Look closely at your own experience. Did you choose the family you were born into? Did you design your own heartbeat? Are you consciously managing the growth of your hair, the circulation of your blood, the spinning of the planet beneath your feet? Life is happening, it is moving, it is unfolding in ways far beyond the reach of your personal will. Yet the ego whispers, hold tighter, plan more, worry more, secure everything. But the tighter you grip water, the faster it slips through your fingers. The truth is this: you were never meant to control life. You are not a separate commander, standing outside the universe, attempting to manage it like a machine. You are part of the happening. You are an expression of the same force that moves the stars and grows the trees. The river flows, and you call it life, but you forget you are the river too. When you try to control everything, you stand against the current, and standing against the current, and standing against the current is exhausting. It creates fear of what might happen, regret over what already has, and tension about what must be maintained. But when you stop resisting, when you allow the flow instead of fighting it, something remarkable occurs. The anxiety softens, the breath deepens, the mind grows quiet. This does not mean you become passive or careless. It means you move with life instead of against it. You respond rather than react. You trust the unfolding rather than trying to dominate it. The illusion of control dissolves the moment you see that life is not a problem to be solved, but a dance to be experienced. And once you stop trying to conduct the orchestra of the universe, you begin to hear the music. Let go of control, and you will finally feel what it means to be at peace. Now let us go deeper, because once the illusion of control begins to loosen, another illusion quietly reveals itself, the illusion that you are separate. From the moment you learn to say the word I, you were conditioned to feel as though you are something isolated, sealed inside a body, looking out at a world that is not you. This is me, you say, pointing to your chest. That is the world, you say, pointing outward. And with that simple division, a lifelong sense of distance is born. You begin to feel alone. You walk through nature and think you are observing it as if you are a visitor here. You look at the stars and imagine you are separate from them. You sit in a crowded room and still feel isolated inside your own skin.
What up, YouTuber? What up, y'all? What up, chat?
Is not reality. It is a story the mind tells. Consider this carefully. The air you breathe was once exhaled by trees. The water in your body has moved through oceans, clouds, and rivers. The atoms that form your bones were forged in ancient stars. What you call you is not an isolated object. It is a process. It is an event in the great unfolding of the universe. You are not in the universe. You are the universe, happening in the form you currently call me, just as a wave is not separate from the ocean. You are not separate from existence. The wave may rise and fall, but it never leaves the water. In the same way, you may feel born, and you may feel born, and you may fear death, but you never step outside the totality of life. The sense of isolation comes from mistaking the wave for a separate thing, rather than a movement of the whole. And when you truly see this, not as an idea, but as a living realization, loneliness begins to dissolve. The fear of rejection softens. The desperate need for validation fades. Because how can you be rejected by something you are not separate from? How can you be alien in a universe that is expressing itself as you? This understanding does not inflate the ego. It dissolves it. You stop trying to prove yourself to the world because you recognize there is no other to compete with. There is only this vast interconnected dance. and you are one of its movements. When you feel disconnected, it is not because you are truly alone. It is because you have believed the story of separation for too long. Look again. The same life that beats in your heart moves through everything. You were never separate to begin with. And as we continue peeling back these illusions, we arrive at something even more intimate. The illusion of who you think you are. You have been given a name. You have been given a history. You carry memories, achievements, failures, labels, roles. You say, this is my personality. This is my story. This is me. But pause for a moment and look carefully. Is that truly what you are? Or is it simply a character you have learned to play? From childhood, you were rewarded for certain behaviors and discouraged from others. Slowly, you constructed an image. You became the responsible one, the strong one, the intelligent one. The intelligent one. You built an identity out of reactions and expectations. And like an actor who forgets he is on stage, you began to believe the role was your true self. But the ego, the sense of a separate I, is not your essence. It is a mask, a useful mask, yes. It allows you to function in society, to navigate conversations, to sign documents and introduce yourself at meetings. But it is still a mask. Notice something simple. Your thoughts appear in your mind, yet you are aware of them. Your emotions rise and fall, yet something in you observes them. Even your sense of identity.
Hey, welcome to the live YouTuber. Good morning, y'all. Good morning.
What you valued at 20 is not what you value now. Yet there is an underlying awareness that has remained constant.
Morning philosophy, you know what I mean? It's my favorite, y'all.
Any story you tell about yourself. The ego wants permanence. It wants definition. It wants to be someone solid and unchanging. It wants to be someone solid and unchanging. That is why it fears criticism and clings to praise. It is constantly defending an image. But life is fluid. Existence is movement. And when you try to freeze yourself into a fixed identity, you create tension. You are not a static object. You are a living process. Think of a flame. It appears to be one thing, yet it is constantly changing, constantly consuming and renewing. If you tried to capture it and hold it still, it would cease to be a flame. In the same way, when you try to define yourself too rigidly, you suffocate the reality of who you are. When the mask loosens, there is a profound relief.
What up, YouTubers? What up,
You no
YouTubers?
longer need to protect an image. You no longer need to protect an image. You no longer need to win every argument or maintain a perfect persona. You can simply be aware, present, alive. The ego may be a useful costume, but it is not your face. And when the costume falls away, what remains was never born and can never be destroyed. And once the mask of the ego begins to loosen, another fear rises to the surface. The fear that has quietly shaped so many of your decisions. The fear that has quietly shaped so many of your decisions. The fear of death. You have been taught to see death as the ultimate disaster, the final enemy, the great darkness waiting at the end of the road. It is spoken of in hushed tones, avoided in conversation, pushed to the edges of awareness, and yet it is the most natural event in the world. Look around you. The seasons change without apology. The seasons change without apology. Leaves fall, not as a tragedy, but as part of a rhythm. Day turns to night, not as a failure of the sun, but as a necessary movement in the dark. Everything in existence moves in cycles. Expansion and contraction, sound and silence, birth and dissolution. Why should you be any different? The mind resists this because it wants continuity.
To the public, it
wants the story to go on forever.
From the media.
There is a potential problem at the biosphere near Oregon,
Calling the entire operation dishonest and a failure from its initial goal of not taking anything in from the outside world. The story is quite complex, and there's actually a documentary made about this entire thing. What a lot of people don't know, however, is that despite its past, Biosphere 2 still flourishes today. It's owned by the University of Michigan and is the home of countless groundbreaking experiments to study and better understand our ecosystem. Did they ever find out why?
They did. So 2 reasons. They brought in soil that had a lot of microbes in it, and it was really active. So it used up a lot of that oxygen. And then there's a lot of concrete in here, right? All of this is fake rock. It's all concrete, and they didn't let the concrete cure for long enough. So there was a chemical reaction happening there. Those are the kind of things that if you're thinking about going to another planet, gotta figure that stuff out. So this is the original
Scale automation with a self-hosted N8N
Hey y'all, the biosphere. Anybody ever seen the biosphere?
Secure VPS. Unlock.
The biosphere in Arizona, y'all.
So this is where they live. And this is their apartment.
Biosphere 2. Which one was Biosphere 1?
So this is our Landscape Evolution Observatory, LEO. It's our flagship research project, and it's a massive, 3 massive hill slopes that they're doing all kinds of landscape research on.
How's the soil looking? It's great. Healthy? Good. The 3 slopes are good. Get out of my face. Follow me. Freaking out over the ground.
Alright, I'm walking through the desert. I've been filming and observing in here for about 27 years. Only heard a couple of birds. Haven't seen them though. Seems like any time I try to look at them, everything goes to darkness.
So how much of this space is underground?
About 2 acres.
The visually simulating stuff is up there, but the real complicated science is all down here.
What? It's creepy, y'all.
So this is the lung. It's essentially what kept the biosphere from exploding. Air needed to go to expand when it got warm and contract when it got cool. If they didn't have a place for it to go to expand and contract, it would have blown out the windows. So they built this. So above you is about 40,000 pounds. That is completely held up by air pressure. That's the only thing.
This is not propped by anything.
Nope.
She's about to open the door, which is going to change the air pressure in here. We're going to notice the rubber a little bit.
Oh, it's going down. It's lowering.
Open sesame.
Open your garage from anywhere. Don't just view it, MyQ it.
Wow.
40,000 pounds.
Wait, hold it and see how much it's changing. Look. Stand next to it. Oh, it's going up. That is the biggest thing I've ever moved.
We actually have the world's largest experimental ocean. There's no other tank in the world that's this big that you can do scientific research in.
Wow, this is massive.
This is so cool! We never let people swim in here unless they're research staff. So.
Have you never snorkeled before?
No.
You really?
I've not.
Oh my god.
Walk you through it, girl.
You ready?
We left Biosphere 2 feeling incredibly grateful for the unique experience we got to share alongside Symphony. And at this point, as we were leaving the facility, we thought our adventure was over. But after getting back to our hotel and getting to know more about Symphony, we realized that there was a lot more to her story than we had originally thought.
Sophie has such a bright future ahead of you in art. But I don't know.